What's up guys, Bradley's Garage here. We got a Harbor Freight blast cabinet and we're going to take it from the stock configuration as you see here out of the box we just built, and we're going to turn it into this. Okay, so after you guys get it built, a lot of guys talk about caulking all of the, all of the edges and all this stuff. Maybe back, in previous years they didn't provide you with this stuff. They give you like a roll of this foam tape. So you basically have enough foam tape to seal all the, the cabinet up. So I don't think it's really necessary to do any caulking, so we chose not to do it. We did the lid, just because we had some caulking stuff. So we're like, let's just do it. But I think with the vacuum setup and everything that we plan on doing, then you're not going to need it. So. Other thing is, guys, cut down this this support here and then lower the floor so you have more room in here. Every video I saw is guys cut up the bar, lower stuff, and then they end up getting rid of the actual support. So they don't have any support. And so then they put in something heavy, and then these things are just bent and bowed. And I think since we're going to be doing, differentials, rear ends, and heavy items, we just decided to keep it. I think there's plenty of room inside the cabinet to pretty much do all the small parts. If you need something else, then obviously you're going to do something out in the yard with a normal blast tank. So the other thing is, if you look outside here, this thing, we just put it on upside down. Normally they put it on the smooth side. We put it here so you could throw some stuff in on here so it wouldn't just fall out. But outside of that, it's pretty much straightforward. Just follow the instructions and get it built. So in terms of mods, let's get into the mods and let's talk about what makes this a better cabinet. All right. Okay. So here we are. Mod number 1, easy, quick, inexpensive mod. This is metal tape. You don't necessarily have to use the metal tape. It's just something that we have, and it's very durable. So basically, we want to cover up these holes and prevent the blast media from collecting in those holes. Some guys tape the whole thing. It's like, why waste the tape, right? I mean, all you have to do is tape the holes. The rest of the stuff doesn't matter, right? Alright, the next mod is replacing the plastic they give you with glass. So they give you one piece of glass, and then they give you, it's like this stuff that's stuck on the underside, inside here, stuck on under here to help protect the glass from etching. It's like, the problem with this is, as soon as this gets etched a little bit, you can't see anything, versus if you just utilize 2 pieces of glass, then you won't have a problem. So this is what they give you. Look at this thing. It's like, we've never even used the machine, and it's already, you can't see through it. So this is what's on top, underneath here, of course, under here, but we just have it held on by one because we're going to show you stuff. So basically this, you don't want to do this every time you replace the glass. And then trying to reach this one over here, it's like you need to have, Shaquille O'Neal arms or something, So anyway, we're going to show you how to make it easy. So normally this bolt goes through, and then, there's no way to hold this from the inside. I've seen some guys, like, you could silicone it or whatever and it might stay in place, but keep in mind, if you change the glass a lot and you're trying to fiddle with this and line up the holes, if you push it, then it falls on the inside and you lose your screw. So what we want to do is get a 5mm or longer screw, so we're going to use 25mm M4 instead of the 20, and then we're going to use the same hardware. Well, they give you, I'll show you, there's a small washer that comes, to assemble it, and then there's, the nut. So the only thing you need to buy is just the 25mm M4 bolt. And then we're going to lock them all in. We're going to do all the rest of them, and then we'll show you, basically after that, we need to create a little clearance for here. If you look right there, there we have a little bit of a gap. So we don't want that, so we're gonna have to take a little plastic on the underside, and then you get some knurled nuts like this, and then it's easy to change. Because imagine, like I was saying before, if you have your little 8mm wrench over here, and then you're trying to reach under here with your Phillips to hold it, then you end up dropping everything into the thing. It's a pain in the butt. So we want to lock the screws in and get thumb nuts. All right, so let's do it. All right, so we got everything in. We're just gonna go around, tighten everything. It's easy to do when the glass is not in there. You can reach in there, you can see what's going on. And then, like I said, this is the stuff they give you to seal all the seams, and it seems like they're about 24 inches short, so we just added some that we had laying around. So I think maybe like you don't need stuff here. I don't think you need stuff in between this. We put it there, but I don't think it's necessary. So if you don't do it there, then you'll have plenty of stuff. So just tighten all the stuff up, and we'll fix the plastic next. Okay, so the goal is we want to bring these down a little bit to clear. So I just got my Dremel out, and I put the little round bit on there, and okay, that should be it. So we do that for all of them. So basically we're removing about 50% of the height of the current stem here. That's it. And then, you know, if you need a little razor blade or whatever, just clean up the edges and do that for all of them. And then I think we're going to drill this 1 or 2 sizes bigger, just to make it easy to fit, because you know the things, when you have all the bolts in, it's a little tight. So we're just going to elongate the holes and do it. So here we go. Alright, so we got all this side done. We did all the Dremel work, everything, about 50% shaved off. So now let's flip it over. And now we're going to drill the top. We're going to use a 15/64, and we're going to just elongate all 12 holes. Okay, now let's test fit. Test fit, test fit, test fit. Okay, yeah. Still a little tight. All right, let's see the sides now. Okay, so now we're completely flush. We put our thumb nut on there, and we're good. Completely flush. We have our Lowe's glass. You can get them to cut a single piece of glass, and it works out to be exactly the 12 by 24 that you need for this hole. So you lay the piece that that will get replaced goes down first, okay, and then the thicker piece that comes with the blast cabinet, you're going to put on top, okay? So that's your window, all right? And then this thing tries to slide. It's just kind of tricky when you put this back on. You just want to get the holes lined up, and then you just kind of like just move this glass up with your hand, and then once it's in the groove, then you're good. Okay? Alright, final step. Your knurled nuts. Knurled nuts go on. Now when you spin these and cinch it down, now you know that these are stationary. They're not going to turn, they're not going to move, they're not going to come unglued if you use silicone. So put those on, and you just did the glass upgrade, and you made it easy to be able to change when the inside glass gets etched. If you're doing a lot of work, then it'll happen, and it'll start to get cloudy, and then you'll need to change the glass. So now you can see we're nice and flush, and everything is fitting wonderfully. Okay, so we got the glass upgrade done. We have the locking bolts in place and the knurl nut upgrade to make the quick change in silver to match everything. I see a lot of guys, you know, using gold, but come on. You can find the silver, guys. We'll put the link below. You got it. All right, so next mod we're going to do is the metering valve for the unit. We got to take off the bottom. So take that off. We have everything loose because we just assembled it. Because we knew we were going to take it back apart again. So we kept everything loose. Take the screw out, and let's mark this and put a hole right in the middle. Okay, marking the center, easy. Just go corner to corner, make a line. Okay, now we got our middle. We got it drilled. I was a little shaky with my little Milwaukee. It didn't seem like it wanted to have the power, but as you can see, it came out pretty nice. It's pretty clean on both the front and the back. We just take a little alcohol pad, rubbing alcohol. You can clean off your little marker just to make it look clean. No reason to keep that X on the bottom. Okay. So what we got for this, and our idea, a little bit different than everybody else online, but we're going to go with a waterproof conduit box connector. So this is a 1-inch, and you can see that it already has the waterproof seal that it comes with it. So I think this is a little bit cleaner than the other installations, in my opinion. So basically, we lay that in there, and then we still have good rubber seal here, and then we can just tighten it up, and then that's basically what it looks like. So we'll cinch it down, and let's build the rest of the components you need for the metering valve. Here's all the components. So we have our lid here with the 1-inch. So from there, we're going to come down with a 1-inch nipple into a 1-inch to 3/4 T. We have our plug that goes in the bottom here. We have our 3/4 that goes over to the next T. And then we have a reducer from half here to 1/4. And then we're going to use this little compressor thing, which is just basically a 1/4 turn valve. We're going to use that as the metering valve since it's, you know, nice and clean. And then at the end of that, we have our 5/8 by 3/4 adapter, and that just threads in the middle, on the end of here. And then our hose, which is our feed line that comes, you know, that goes to the gun. All right, so let's get it all hooked up. This one just happened to end at the wrong angle, so anyway, we want it to get like this.
And then we want it facing up, right?
Well, I think some guys face it out, some guys face it up. I mean, I don't know what difference it makes, honestly. We face it up. How close are, we'll see. This is still, the cabinet's over here, so it should be fine. So basically, here's what we have, right? This is our look. Let's just...
How does the valve go? Does it go up and down?
Just cinch this up a little bit. Okay, so basically this is the front, and then the valve will go up is fully open, down is fully closed. Alright, so this is basically looking under the machine. Here's our latch mechanism. So yeah, I think it looks great. We tightened everything. Like I said, it's not under pressure, it's gravity. We just want to make sure that the air is coming from here and not from any of these seams. So we have the waterproof tight seal. Here we have the foam that we did a nice circle and we cut, so it's going to be good. And the only thing left, I think, is we didn't spin the valve around one time, so let's do that so we make sure it's tight. And okay, and there is our finished product. All of our stuff down below. Check out the mod for the metering valve. All the parts list will be there. Everything you need to go shopping. Let's throw it on the machine. Alright, so let's throw it on the machine. Let's grab our bolts and find the hole. Okay, I just put a little, I don't think they call for a washer, but we had some extra, so might as well just put a little washer on it. These fine thread screws are always challenging to get started. Alright. Okay, now we line it up. I know some guys like put a zip tie here, but I don't know, maybe my lever's different. Maybe they've shortened or tightened the bend here or something, but as you can see, it's really tight compared to maybe some previous generations. So anyway, we have it laying on the side right now just to make it easier to work on. But like I said, we have plenty of room to make our adjustment with our airflow. This is all the way open and all the way closed. So I think it's a really clean system, and I think it's going to work great. All right, next up, we're going to install the regulator assembly. So I have I haven't connected any of the pieces. We'll do that in a second. I just want to mark the holes. So what our plan is to mount it here on the right side. I know a lot of guys are putting it in the front, either on the left or the right, but you know, this is your work area. I don't want to be bumping into anything or anything like that. So we're going to put it here like this. The only thing that'll be sticking out a little bit will be the gauge, the pressure gauge. And then I'm lining it up. I'm looking down this, so I'm just lining up the top of it with the base of the upper part of the cabinet. So we have that looking good, and as long as you're happy with the level, then let's mark those holes. Okay, all right, and then let's drill those. Okay, so if you want to do it easy, then we can just say that it's basically 5 1/4 inches from the door. Okay, make your marks. Let's use our punch to get a nice little starter hole. Okay, so we got our 2 holes for mounting the regulator. Now we need to have our hole for the air inlet hose. So we measured down and we centered it consistent with the regulator. So just measure your regulator if you're not using the same one we got. Okay. We're going to use a step-up bit, so we're going to go down, I think, almost all the way. Alright, everything looks good, hole came out nice, so basically let's just use our same quarter 20s we've used for the rest of the project. I know, you know, 3/4 inch, you don't really need 3/4, but you know what? We bought the pack of 10, so we don't want you to have to buy a bunch of odd sizes. Alright, so we got it fastened here, the same quarter 20 bolts that we used in the rest of the project, so let's put the regulator together. Alright, so we got it mounted up, we have the two bolts tightened, and then as you can see here, we have the reducer to connect our little hose nipple here. Okay, and we have plenty of room to slide it on and do the hose clamp from here. We have our compressor fitting, we put it here, and like I said, you got plenty of room to turn everything, and the only thing sticking out is just the valve, or excuse me, the gauge. So I think it's clean, I think it'll work really nice, and it's kind of out of the way and not hanging off the front of the machine. And then you have the hidden hose that we're going to run and go right into the cabinet here. So we're going to put a little plug in the factory one, and that way both of the incoming lines from our metering valve down there, we're going to do those and show you how that works right now. Okay, so we put a little mark here. This is representative of the crossbar inside the unit. So that'll be really critical if you guys decided to lower the floor, which some other guys did. Then your floor will be, you know, basically right here in the way. Maybe you'll be above the floor depending on how low you went. But anyway, we're not doing that mod. We're just going to say this is 6.5 from the edge of the cabinet, and then we went another 1.5 inches each way. We're going to run the air line in this hole, and then we're going to run the feed line into this hole. So let's drill it. Alright, so we have the little step bit, and we put a little mark right there, so when it's spinning around you can see where we need to stop. So just visually it helps you guys. You don't want to go too deep because then the grommet will be loose. Alright guys, so we drilled the first one. This is for the air hose. We're using a 5/8 inch grommet for the 3/8 inch air hose, and we had to drill with this guy. We had to drill to a 13/16 hole size in order for the grommet to fit in nicely and the air hose to actually fit through the hole. Alright, so now we're on to this guy, which is our 5/8 inch inner diameter. It's about 3/4 outer diameter, and our grommet is 3/4, so we're gonna have to go obviously up to about 1 inch, 1.1 inches. So let's get started. Alright, so we're just test fitting it now. It's good. So ended up doing 1 1/8 hole, 3/4 inch grommet, and like I said, the outer diameter of this is also 3/4. So this did get stretched a little bit. So if you're using the factory hose, it's a little bit smaller, but obviously I don't think you can use the factory hose, because if you're doing the metering valve and you're doing this, you're going to need a longer piece, because that's not going to work. So we got this from a local hose guy because we didn't want to buy the 10 feet that Home Depot sells. So we got this for a couple bucks. So if you got some hose guy in your neighborhood that has all kinds of hoses, you can get some braided line from him. Otherwise you have to buy the 10 feet from Home Depot. So whatever you have access to. Now we're going to just lay the unit back down, and we're going to drill the same 1 1/8 hole, use the same 3/4 grommet to feed the line to the metering valve. Okay, we laid the unit on the side, or actually on the back. Now we measured down 1.5 inches, and we're going to drill the second hole for the feed line. Okay, so we just did a quick test fit. We marked where we're going to put the grommets because you know they're kind of a pain to slide down the hose, and then we marked where we're going to cut our feed line. Then we're going to reuse the existing one that Harbor Freight gives, okay? And then we're going to use this guy with our T. We're going to put the T in, like right here next to the edge, and then we're going to cut a piece of this to have our blow gun, you know, sitting over here in the corner, just to be able to blow off parts, get rid of any excess debris. So the other thing that we got to do is get the grate back in here, line it up, and figure out what square we need to cut out, because it will not fit through the lower screen. This one will, but this one will not. So let's check that out. So we marked it out. We're going to cut this square out. That's where the big 5/8 feed line is going to be. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to take out square number 8 and 9, and then 2 and 3. Okay? Okay, cut it out. It's gonna work out nice. Okay, so we just took some silicone spray, and that helped slide the grommets because they are snug, especially on this one. This one's not that snug, but these are. So now we're just gonna put them in the machine. Okay guys, so we got the small air hose in, we got the lower one in, so I was just gonna show you the technique. I just have my hook tool here, so you get it slid up next to it, right? And then I'm not using the poker end, I'm using the flat end. So this one's a little challenging because it's on a slight angle, but I basically just push, you know, you get it started, get the end in, and just work it around as you're, you know, apply pressure. Got it? Then just take your alcohol wipe off your marker, and we got everything hooked up down here. So we have our valve up for air, down for, you know, closed metering. Put our hose clamp on. Now we just need to hook up the gun and do our air nozzle. All right, so we got all our hoses in. We have everything hooked up, the gun. We added our little brass T-Barb here. So now we actually have a blow gun. So that way you can blow the parts off and just have a way to clean up stuff before you open the door and bring stuff out. So with everything, with the regulator here, we have our air line coming right there. Everything's mounted nice. Grommets, and we go down to our metering valve. Everything is clean. So on to the next mod. Alright, so since we eliminated the air hose coming here and we're going off the regulator now, we just have a little 1/2" cap, and basically snaps right in, seals it up. Alright guys, the next mod is we're going to do a frame on the bottom. This is if you want to be able to have casters on your unit. I know some guys just put it like on, you know, a wood dolly. I mean, you know, I guess it works, but we want to really attach it to the base of the frame, and we want it to be, you know, really sturdy. So we have our 1.5 inch, 1/8 inch thick angle iron. So then we got that. We got our bolts here. We'll link everything that we're using in the description below. So we're gonna, you know, put this through the frame like this here. We got our washer, so that's gonna lock in our angle iron into our square here. And then after that, we're going to put in casters. So we'll have a rotating 360 in the front, and then we'll have a stationary in the back. So you can pull it, turn left, right, and really drive it around however you want. 33 7/8. Okay, so we need 2 at 33 7/8. So I'm going to leave 1/8 of an inch. All right, so we got 33 and 7/8 because it's 34, and then we got 22 and 7/8 because it's 23. So I want to leave an 1/8 of an inch so we have a little movement. You know, these things may not be perfectly straight. So obviously we have an angle grinder. You can use a hacksaw if you don't have access to an angle grinder. Alright guys, so we just want to clean up the ends. Obviously you can see that, you know, from cutting it, even if with a hacksaw you're going to have a little bit. So you can use just a file, unless you have a little table angle grinder with the wire wheel. It cleans it up real nice. So we're going to use the faster method, but like I said, we're trying to make this easy for anyone to be able to do. Alright, so we got everything cut, and so this is what we're thinking. We're just going to lay the two side pieces inside, so we trim them a little bit shorter, and then we're going to attach the casters to the long pieces. So let's get everything marked out for that, and let's go drill some holes. Okay, so we're using our little clamps to hold everything in position. We measured 1 inch over, 1 inch up, so we're about centered and everything, and we're just going to use a little punch, put a little mark, okay, a little dot of oil. I'm going to start with a 1364 spit. Okay, and then we go to our 5/16. So we're just going to put a bolt in just to keep this piece in position, and then we're going to do the front side. Okay, so we're just going to test fit everything with the bolts. So we'll put the side bolt in, we'll put the top bolt in, and do that on all 4 corners. And then we'll come back and show you guys the placement of the casters. Okay, so we'll do the casters after we do all 4 corners. Okay, so we got all 4 corners. We just have them just hand tight, all 4 corners. We have all the bolts in. As you can see, all 4 corners, okay? So now we're working, this is the left side of the unit. So if you pan out a little bit, you see this is the left side and this is the right side. So we want the swivel side on the door side. So that way if we're, you know, we need to turn it sideways to have access to it, then we can do it that way. So what we're gonna do is we're going to mount the fixed ones right here. Close to the corner, but we don't want to have to drill through both things, so we're just going to mount it right here. So we're going to do that on the top and the bottom on the left side of the unit, right? And then over here in the front, we're going to do the swivel units in basically the same position. And since we're using 1.5 inch and these are kind of like 2 inch and those holes are really close to the edge, we're going to go ahead and just do a new hole right in the center so we can use a bolt in the center. So we're going to do that for this one as well, because like I said, these are kind of close, and then when you get the bolt through, then the nut wants to, you know, get caught up against the inside of the angle iron. So we're just going to drill a new hole here and a new hole here, and that way we have the ability to do it. So after we drill those holes, then we'll come back here, mark it, and drill the 2 holes for each one. 4 is, I mean, overkill. 2 is already insane with this type of angle iron. All right. For both of you know, the stationary casters. So just mark it, drill your holes, and then we'll do the same thing here. I'm going to drill from the top side on this one because I want to, you know, we have that lip. It's a little bit bigger because we have the ball bearings and stuff. So. Okay, so we got our casters drilled. Now we're just basically lining up the edge of the unit with the edge of the caster, and then we're just going to draw a little circle there, switch thumbs, draw a little circle there. So we're doing the wheel parallel with the bar, so that way, you know, you can push it like on the thin side, so you'll just like a toolbox. So the thin side rolls forward and back, and then it spins on this side. All right. So now let's just put it in. Let's test fit. Okay. Stationary caster, like I said, everything's just loose. We're just, you know, test fitting everything, make sure everything looks good. Then we're going to pull this back apart, and we're going to paint it red to match. All right, so do 2 of these on the left side, and then we're going to show you the 360 one right now. All right, so we're just going to center it, same thing as the other one. We're lining up with this line, and we're going to draw a little circle and draw one on the back. So now we have the fixed in the back, we have a swivel in the front. Do the same thing for the bottom, and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so we got the casters on. Like I said, the left side we went with parallel. The 360s are on the right side, the door side. So everything's still loose, it's not tight. We're going to take it apart now and paint those red to match this. But just to give you an idea of how it works now, just like your toolbox. Your front one rotates, whatever. If you want to lock it into place, lock it there, and then now it's going to be stationary. So let's get it cleaned up and show you the final assembly. Alright guys, so if we finished up this, if you're not going to do our vacuum mod later on, another mod in our video, then you can just leave it like this, or if you want, cut a piece of plywood to fit this square and just use it as a shelf. So what we're going to do is, we don't really want stuff sitting outside because this is not in the garage currently, and it just gets, you know, dirty and stuff, so we're not going to really leave this to where we're going to put anything on the shelf. So we got this expanded sheet, and then we got an extra piece of flat bar, so 1 inch by 36. So take that. So basically our plan is to cut this here, attach it in those 2 points, and then we're going to have our expanded sheet sitting right there, and then our bucket for our vacuum dust deputy stuff that we're going to show you guys how to do. That'll be there. So before we take this apart and paint it, we have to do this additional step for another mod in the video. Alright, so let's get on it. Okay, so we got our mesh, and we're gonna actually look at that. It looks like it's gonna land just about perfect. Let's try to cut them right in the middle of that one to try to maintain the integrity on the end. So we're gonna go basically right down this line. Okay, all right, let's go cut this. Okay, all right guys, so we cut it, we got it to fit, we trimmed our flat bar, and that's ready to go. So I think, looking at this now, we're gonna go ahead, when we reassemble this after painting it, we're gonna assemble the caster obviously last, and then we're gonna put a washer and use these two nuts with two washers to hold this side of the mesh down, since we already have that. So the only thing that we gotta do is tack these three. Okay, let's move it. Okay, let's take this over to the vise. So we're going to use the same quarter bolts. We're going to use a fender washer. The middle one will use a shorter 1/2 inch versus these are 3/4. So basically it's just those three things. So we'll take the little guy, move yours over a little bit. We should be right in the middle. Yeah. So this one should go right here, like this. Okay, and we have another one. Say okay, well the screen, we basically got a cut.
Should be good.
Okay. All right, so like I said, we take that off, put the washers here, that'll hold it flat here, and now I say that's pretty strong. I mean, really it's a bucket to hold dust, honestly. You don't need much. Okay, bucket. Gonna sit on there just like that. Just like that. No problem. All right, let's get it painted. Alright guys, so we got everything disassembled again for the base, and we're gonna go ahead and paint everything. So we found at Home Depot the Rust-Oleum Cherry. Seems like it's gonna be a pretty sweet match. So we got that stuff laid out, and then I just went ahead and marked the box so we know exactly where our pieces go. So let's get on it. Hey guys, I want to show you the finished product. Before you saw us fab it up with the non-painted metal. Now everything is good to go. And you know, we're looking at this like you guys, you know, start doing a project, and we're thinking maybe we'll throw a piece of plywood here. We were talking about you could do a whole plywood. Either way, you know, this stuff's kind of expensive, so it just depends on your budget. But anyway, I think the paint, the cherry Rust-Oleum, comes out and matches perfectly. So yeah, on to the next. All right guys, so next up is our Dust Bunny, Dirt Devil, whatever the hell you call the thing. Anyway, we're gonna do the homemade bucket trick. So there's tons of videos online, so we just want to consolidate all those videos and make it as clean and concise as we can, utilizing our existing base for the bucket, okay? So we have our bucket, we have a flexible 2-inch. Now the reason why we went with this is because our Craftsman vacuum nozzle fits perfectly in this, okay? So double check with your, you know, some people have like a rigid, you know, the orange vac. You may need to switch this out to 1.5 or smaller depending on the size of your vac, but this gives you some adjustment and it works good. Then we have our 45 to come in the bucket. That's going to make our swirling action, and then we're going to put a little piece here depending on where we need the bucket, and then we have a bracket to hold the pipe, and yeah, I think we'll be good. We may not even need this. We're going to see if it's necessary. So let's get on it. Okay, so we took our 45 that we showed you just a second ago, and we just cut this off because when we want to drill the hole in the bucket, we don't want to go past this collar because then we'll have a bigger hole than we need. We want it to be a tight fit there. So this is going to go inside the bucket. So all you got to do is set it here, and we're just going to do it right on this warning label, and you just want to get it kind of closer to the top. I mean, it's not, there's no mathematical formula for this. Okay. Let's see here. We were basically right. Okay. So now we have our hole. Our Sharpie is dying, but now we know what we need. Now we have our hole saw. We only have 2 1/8. The pipe outside diameter measures 2 3/8. So we're going to have to do a little rat tail file or Dremel just to get to our line so our pipe is a tight fit. So let's do it. Third time's the charm. Oh, look at that. That is sexy, guys. All right.
Put a little drop of silicone on the outside
the
when
rim,
you push it in.
Maybe we'll just try some pipe, the normal PVC pipe glue. I think it'll work nicely. Okay, so we just drilled a hole. It's easy to find the center of the bucket. We got our 2 3/8 hole saw, which is the same diameter as the ABS pipe. All right, so let's go. Okay, we got our pilot hole in the back cover. I just put it on there liberally because we want to, you know, try to fill up that gap. So I just stack it on. So you got a puddle of this stuff right in the mid band. Okay, and then basically all we're gonna do is insert it and just give it a little twist, you know, and then hopefully we have good coverage. That looks pretty solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
a right there.
A little tiny bit here. Okay, and then we just want about 1 inch sticking out.
And then we're doing 1.5 inches that side.
Yeah, so it's a total of 2 1/2 inch little piece. So we got the inside, we got the outside, and then
this is.
And then that'll go on. So we'll just let this set up. It dries pretty quick. Let me just do one. I see a little bit there. Okay. Say you could use silicone, you could use hot glue, you know, whatever you have. We have some glue, so we thought just use it. Okay. Okay, so we did the same thing with the back plug. We drilled it out, and now we're gonna glue our pipe in there. We made a little mark, so we're just gonna go in about 1/2 inch. So essentially we're gonna be even with the inner piece there. So. Alright guys, so we got everything hooked up. We put our, you know, we got this glued in. So this is not glued in, so you could take it off of here, you could take it off of here, you could take it off of here, and take it out of the bucket. So all that's just, you know, stuffed in, okay? And we ended up using the bracket. Initially, I was going to do a little piece here, and then just use the bracket with a screw and a bolt. But my kid's like, it's kind of ugly, and I agree with him. It's kind of ugly. So we did the old standoff trick with 3 nuts. We had a piece of the flat bar left over, so we can just simply cut that, and that's going to give us rigidity. And then it's just 3 nuts, lock it onto the frame, drill 2 holes, bam. Okay, now we have our bucket, and then we have our quick connect for our vacuum, and then we just put a wing nut style clamp on, so you can plug your vacuum in, your port, and then just tighten it up. And so when you need to take the bucket off, it's simply just give a little wiggle like this, bucket slides out, and voila, dump the bucket. You're ready to rock and roll, peel your lid off, and you're golden. All right, vacuum mod done. Alright guys, so next up is we're going to redo the light switch here to accommodate our new LED light. So we're going to get rid of this, and then you can really see the before and after. So we're just going to remove this. You guys put it back, you put it together so you know how it comes apart. Just take it off, and then we'll throw the new stuff on and show you what it's going to do. Guys, now we're going to go ahead and get our external switch and outlet powered up. So we decided to use a metal box, and we painted it along with the caster project that we did earlier. So we have our box, we have our outlet, we have our old school style switch, we got our switch plate, we have a replacement cord, so this just has the ends on it, so that way this is going to be our cord to the machine. You do need a couple pieces of wire, so if you got something laying around, otherwise maybe you know, Home Depot will just cut you off. Literally you just need a foot. This is like 14.2. You need your dikes, and the only other thing that we got is you'll need a couple wire nuts just to connect, make a couple connections inside your box here, and let's get it mounted. Okay, so this box is a little bit too narrow to hide the 3 existing holes that are in the cabinet for the old light switch. So we're going to leave this one in to plug the hole essentially, and then we're going to put this right up against that screw. Keep in mind, we're only passing 2 wires through in for our light, so you don't, I mean, that hole's ginormous. And so mark those 2, and then we'll be able to drill the 2 holes. We're just going to go for it, no pilot hole. Okay, so there was some leftover screws from when we built the cabinet, so we didn't have to buy anything for our box, so we're going to just mount it. Alright guys, so we have our GFI, we have our switch, and we have our light. Our light doesn't have, the LED doesn't have a ground, so we're just going to be using the white and the black. So we have a couple of ground wires, a couple of blacks, and the white. So this is going to be our extension cord coming in. And so we're going to splice into the GFI here with one pigtail, and then we're going to the light is the other one, and this is our extension cord. So we'll walk you through it step by step as we hook it all together. Alright guys, so working on the light switch, we need to run the light power, the wires coming from the light. So anyway, we want to show you guys this. Most people are using like some little string lights, LED stuff that are you know, not very bright. Let's just be honest, okay? They don't put out any lumens, all right? This guy right here, these are 2 21-inch LED strips that are magnetic, so they're going to stick to the roof. The controller, the little ballast, is also magnetic, so that's going to stick to the ceiling. And the lights are super trick. And the coolest thing about these lights is we're talking more than 4,500. That's right, I said it, 4,500 lumens. So it is literally going to be like the sunlight in our box. So let's get it going. Alright guys, as you can see, we put the wires through, put a little sheath on the wires just to help protect them, and then we put a grommet there to keep the cabinet sealed where the wires are. And like I said, the ballast is magnetic, so we're going to finish up the box outside, and then we'll show you how we're going to wire up the lights. Okay, so as you can see, we have our incoming extension cord. Okay, this is the wire to our light. This is the wire to the GFI. Okay, so you basically connect all three whites together. Okay, we have the white coming here, the white going to the light, and the white from our extension cord. Okay, now black, same thing. Black goes over here to our switch. All right. The other black goes to the bottom of the switch. This is basically the hot coming in. This is when you flip the switch up, it sends the power to the light. Okay, and you don't need any whites over here on the switch. And then we just link the grounds together to the extension cord. Okay, the other black goes on the left side of your GFI. So on the back, it says line. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It says line. So you have white, black, it's on the line. Got it? There you go. So now we are ready to, we're going to shorten this obviously. We just wanted to test to make sure it's working. We're going to shorten this coming off of the light, and then we're going to fit everything into the box. Alright guys, so we got everything mounted and everything's hooked up, ready to rock and roll. This is the old light clamp, you know, for like the cheesy fluorescent light that they give you that mounts inside the box. There's two of them. Well, what we did is we just cut this top off. We just cut it off right there, cut that off, and now we have a little holder for our 9-foot extension cord. That's the power to our box. All right, so let's jump inside and show you how awesome these lights are. All right, so let's go ahead and put the lights in. It's a simple plug-in connector on the end, and if you guys look inside, you just see it. You just see it hanging there right here. So this is how we have it. So like I said before, it's magnetic, so you don't have to mount anything. There's no screws, there's nothing. You just simply stick it there. We have our wire running. So let's get the lights in position, and then we'll put a couple of holders to keep the white wires up against the top lid. Okay, so on the lights themselves, from the same company that you'll get the link below where we got these lights. These are our protected covers. They simply just slide right over and fit perfectly on the unit, okay?
Here's what it looks like.
Okay.
There's a plastic tube.
Yeah, just a plastic thing. So this is going to protect the light from the from the blast media and any debris. And these things are like a couple bucks. So if they ever get really frosted, then technically you could change them. But I'm guarantee this is going to put out more light than you've ever seen in your lifetime. Period. All right, guys, we got it mounted in position. And we have a couple little sticky clips just to tie up the wires. So now everything's clean against the ceiling and ready to go. So let's see what kind of power these bad boys put out. We're out here in the dark because we want to give you the best possible before and after shot, right? Okay, looks like our little Velcro came off. Okay, cool. Alright, so you guys, we'll put this back to back with before and after. Okay, so let's take a look, guys. So yeah, this is it. Now we can actually see a lot better because of the glass, so that's the first improvement. But so here's our light. This is what they give you. So like in the left corner, it's not bad, but if you're working over here on the right side, it's like, huh? I can't see anything. So this is just my little headlight. So you guys ready for this? You ready? Oh, hello. Hello. Not 200 lumens, not 500 lumens, 4,500 lumens. I think we could bake bread in this oven. This is no joke.
And they're really not even, like, even looking at them, it's really, they're not even that bright to your eye, to be honest.
Yeah, they're nice. Alright.
But you can work at night. with this setup if you really wanted to.
Like I was saying, I think the value of the box is here. If you guys want to put in a little bit of time and effort to do some upgrades, I think you'll be a lot happier with the box long term. It'll function better for you, and you'll be less frustrated. So I don't want you to buy this thing for $150 and say, wow, this thing, you know, it's like, oh man, it's like I'm getting frustrated with the siphon tube clogging and stuff like that. But honestly, I think it's really a sweet unit, and I think that you guys can have a lot of success with it if you do a few little upgrades. But let us know what you think, man. This is you know, something that we wanted to build for a while, and we got it done. So thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.